Kimchi is too salty, so they say it's bad for your health. You hear this a lot among older adults these days. One day, a story like that arrived for me. Professor Lee Eunja, I'm a 78-year-old grandmother. The doctor at the hospital told me to cut back on kimchi. And I opened my refrigerator and cried. When I eat rice without kimchi, it just doesn't taste like rice. As I read her story, my heart felt heavy. Kimchi isn't just a side dish. Kimchi is our memory, our culture, and our heart. On the other hand, health concerns are real. Sodium, fermentation, salted seafood, aged kimchi, chili powder. Among all these factors, what should we believe? Today, I want to carefully unpack this story. Is kimchi good for your body? Or is it harmful? Is it okay to eat it every day? Or should we reduce our intake? And, if we must eat it, what kind of kimchi? And how should we eat it? I have been teaching food and nutrition for over 40 years. I've received many questions about kimchi, from students and older adults alike. The answer has always been the same. Depending on how you eat it, kimchi can be a health tonic or a poison. Today, I will share the science and the soul of kimchi. The first chapter begins with the story of the elderly person who shed tears while eating kimchi. In the face of a doctor's advice to avoid salty food, the confusion and sense of loss felt by those who have lived their whole lives with kimchi. This isn't just a dietary issue. To what extent am I willing to change my table for myself? Have you ever had a similar concerns? Shall we find the answer together, starting now? They say kimchi is good for your health. But why is it good? The answer is simple: fermentation. During fermentation, kimchi creates beneficial bacteria for our bodies. The most notable of these is lactic acid bacteria. Kimchi is particularly rich in a strain called Lactobacillus plantarum. This bacterium helps with gut health, immunity, and inflammation reduction. According to a report from the World Institute of Kimchi, kimchi lactic acid bacteria are excellent at reducing harmful gut bacteria and increasing beneficial ones. People who regularly ate kimchi had more active bowel movements and a lower incidence of constipation than those who didn't. Another important factor is the bioactive substances created during fermentation, such as isothiocyanates, flavonoids, and phenolic compounds. These compounds help with antioxidant and anti-inflammatory functions, which can slow down cell aging. Some studies even show that these components are more concentrated in aged kimchi. Another important factor is the bioactive substances created during fermentation, such as isothiocyanates, flavonoids, and phenolic compounds. These compounds help with antioxidant and anti-inflammatory functions, which can slow down cell aging. Some studies even show that these components are more concentrated in aged kimchi. However, not all fermentation is good. Kimchi left at the wrong temperature or for too long can breed harmful bacteria, so you need to be careful. An older person, 72 years old, once wrote to me, "My aged kimchi smells so sour after a long time. Is it still okay to eat?" My answer was this: fermentation is life. But too much fermentation can turn into rot. The important thing is to ferment kimchi properly and consume it appropriately. Kimchi is ideal when it's been aged for about 3 to 4 weeks in the refrigerator. This is when the lactic acid bacteria are most active, and the flavor deepens. Aged kimchi is good, but if it's too sour and salty, it can irritate the stomach. So, how can you make and eat kimchi that's good for your body? In the next chapter, focusing on the healthy limit of kimchi, I will tell you how we can enjoy kimchi like a health tonic. How much kimchi do you eat every day? It's rare to have a meal without it. In fact, kimchi is the most common side dish on the Korean table. The problem, however, is the quantity. Kimchi has a strong flavor, so even a small amount can make you eat a lot of rice. This often leads to unknowingly over-consuming it. The World Health Organization recommends an adult daily sodium intake of less than 2,000 milligrams. However, one serving of kimchi contains approximately 1,000 to 1,200 milligrams of sodium. This means that just with kimchi, you can exceed half of your daily recommended intake, especially for those who enjoy salty kimchi or aged kimchi. You are consuming far more sodium than you think. Excessive sodium can cause high blood pressure, kidney strain, and irritation of the stomach lining. In fact, one 80-year-old told me that they reduced their daily kimchi intake to less than 30 grams at a doctor's suggestion. For blood pressure management, my food doesn't taste as good, but my head feels clearer, they said. So, is the answer to not eat kimchi at all? No. The key is controlled consumption. Experts recommend a daily kimchi intake of around 50 to 70 grams. A small bowl, just 1 or 2 chopsticks full, is enough. Reducing the salty taste is also an important cooking method. For example, rinsing kimchi lightly with water or cooking it with low-sodium ingredients like tofu, mushrooms, or eggs can neutralize the saltiness and reduce the burden on your body. Making your own low-sodium kimchi with less salted seafood is also a great method. Also, it's a wise eating habit to cook sour kimchi as a stir-fry or salad rather than a stew to reduce the sodium in the broth. For kimchi to protect your health, its quantity and method must be controlled. I'm not saying you should stay away from kimchi. It's okay to eat it every day, but remember that it's not okay to eat a lot every time. In the next chapter, we will delve deeper into how the health effects of kimchi vary by type. What kind of kimchi do you like the most? Cabbage kimchi, kkakdugi, or aged kimchi or white kimchi? Each type of kimchi has a different taste and slightly different health benefits. Let's start with kkakdugi. Kkakdugi, made with radish, is rich in dietary fiber and is effective for bowel movements. Young kkakdugi is especially good when you don't have an appetite due to its crisp texture. On the other hand, overly fermented kkakdugi can become too sour and salty, which can be irritating for those with weak stomachs. Next is aged kimchi. Older kimchi has deeper fermentation, which means more antioxidant components. Studies show that aged kimchi has high levels of flavonoids and organic acids, which can help strengthen anti-inflammatory and immune functions. However, because its salty and sour taste is strong, people with high blood pressure or gastritis should consume it in small amounts. Now, let's talk about white kimchi. White kimchi uses little to no chili powder and salted seafood, so it's low in sodium and less irritating, making it easy on the stomach. It is recommended for older adults with weak digestion or those with gastrointestinal diseases. An 80-year-old woman once told me, "I eat white kimchi every day because my stomach feels comfortable after meals." Lately, there are also many functional kimchis like Yolmu kimchi, Gat kimchi, and Dolnamul kimchi. These kimchis have the advantage of providing a variety of nutrients by using different seasonal vegetables and spices. However, just because there are many types doesn't mean they are all healthy. Kimchi with excessive salted seafood and seasonings, or kimchi that is not fully fermented, can be hard on your stomach. Ultimately, the important thing is to, knowingly, choose the kimchi that is right for your body. In the next chapter, I will provide more specific guidance on the precautions seniors should take when eating kimchi. Kimchi is not a good food for everyone. Isn't kimchi always a healthy food? I get this question a lot. But unfortunately, there are moments when kimchi can become a poison, especially for a senior's health. The first is for those with gastritis or excess stomach acid. Kimchi generates acid during fermentation, which can be irritating for people with a weak stomach lining. Many older adults complain of heartburn after eating sour kimchi. The second is for patients with kidney disease. Because kimchi is high in sodium, it can be a significant burden for people who can't excrete sodium properly. Weak kidney function can lead to swelling and an increase in blood pressure. The third is for people with high blood pressure. The sodium in a single serving of kimchi can sometimes reduce the effectiveness of high blood pressure medication. A salty diet can rapidly worsen vascular health. The fourth is for those with gum or dental problems. The fibrous texture of kimchi can be difficult to chew, creating an obstacle from the very first stage of digestion for older adults. The fifth is for people with weak digestive enzyme secretion. The seasonings, garlic, and chili powder in kimchi can become a burden when stomach acid is insufficient. An 82-year-old woman once wrote to me, "I can't eat without kimchi, but I keep getting heartburn." I recommended that she switch to white kimchi and eat it in small amounts after her meal. And I advised them to rinse it off or cook it to reduce irritation. The important thing is not to avoid kimchi. The key is to eat the kimchi that is right for you, in a way that is right for you. The more familiar a food is, the more cautious you should be. Don't ignore the signals your body sends you. In the next chapter, I will tell you how to change kimchi to suit you and make it healthy. You don't have to completely quit eating kimchi. The important thing is how you eat it. First, instead of eating kimchi raw, you can cook it. When you cook kimchi into a stew, stir-fry, or pancake, the lactic acid bacteria decrease, but the saltiness and sourness are also mitigated. Rinsing sour kimchi with water before stir-frying it can reduce the irritation while preserving its unique flavor. Another good method is using white kimchi and low-sodium kimchi. White kimchi is less irritating, and low-sodium kimchi with less salted seafood can be eaten every day without a burden. When cooking kimchi, it's also important to mix it with other ingredients. Cooking kimchi with low-sodium ingredients like tofu, eggs, pumpkin, or shiitake mushrooms can neutralize the saltiness and improve nutritional balance. For example, kimchi tofu stir-fry or white kimchi rolled with eggs are great dishes that are easy on the stomach. Another tip is to control the order and amount of your kimchi intake. By eating rice first and adding just 1 or 2 chopsticks of kimchi at the end, the salty taste of the kimchi can help you control the amount you eat. It's also important not to drink a lot of water after eating kimchi. The habit of trying to wash away the saltiness can actually promote sodium absorption. Instead, make it a habit to eat vegetable side dishes first and eat kimchi as a small accompaniment to the rest of your meal. Finally, if you can make your own kimchi, that's even better. Kimchi made with a controlled amount of salted seafood and non-irritating ingredients can be the most perfect health side dish for you. One older person told me they make kimchi with apple juice. Thanks to the apple, it's tangy and smooth, and it's easy on my stomach, they said. Is kimchi just food? I don't think so. Kimchi is the taste of our mother's hands, the cold rice in our father's lunchbox, and the taste we always miss after leaving our hometown. Recently, I received a letter. Professor Lee Eunja. I am Park Sung-za, 76 years old. When I was young, I was often scolded for eating kimchi that was too salty. My husband would finish 2 bowls of rice whenever he saw steamed aged kimchi. After he passed, I never made that kimchi again. Then one day, I heard you on a broadcast and decided to make kimchi again. A little less salty, with some fruit juice, and less salted seafood. When I took out the white kimchi I made and had a bite, I felt like I could hear his voice. This tastes good. A little less salty, and very soft, huh? I read that story and sat quietly for a long time. Kimchi, in that way, remembered someone's life. Whether it's salty or sour, we connect the past and the present through kimchi. And that's where the work of taking care of yourself and comforting yourself begins. Isn't it too harsh to say that you should cut kimchi out completely? Kimchi can be good for your health, or it can be harmful, but above all, it is the warm sincerity on a person's table. Not too salty, not too much, and just right for you. I hope that in a single dish of kimchi, love, memories, and health are all included. What kind of kimchi will be on your dinner table tonight? I sincerely hope that one piece will save your body and warm your heart. I will return with the next story. Lastly, I would appreciate it if you could press subscribe and like. Thank you for watching so far.